The Summit League season has arrived. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elsen, and this is Coyote Quarter. With consecutive wins to close the non-conference portion of their schedule, the USD men headed into their 14-game league slate with a little extra momentum. And that was a good thing because the Coyotes would get a big test right out of the gate. Denver may be the Summit League's newest member, but they're already one of the favorites. The Pioneers were picked second behind North Dakota State coming in, but the Coyotes didn't seem fazed by all that preseason hype. They had a great game plan coming in. Feed Trevor Gruce, and they executed it very well. Didn't matter where or how he got the ball. The 6'9" senior was going to score, and he proved it time and time again. Gruce racked up 16 first-half points on 6 of 9 shooting, and will go on to notch his first double-double of the season with 19 points, 10 rebounds. Now the Pioneers hung tough despite Bruce's effort. Brett Elsen with the second of his 4 threes on the day. He led all scorers with 22. Later it's Marcus Bird, one of the top three-point shooters in the Summit League, and that's his second triple. Denver would hit 6 threes in the first half, but they still trailed by 3 at the break. Now, unlike in some of their previous home games, the Coyotes were able to pick up where they left off in the second half, and Brandon Voss gets it started right here with the ridiculous runner. Later, Tyler Flack takes it one step further. Big-time throwdown off the inbound. The Yotes are up 7. Still not done. Voss hits his second 3 of the day. The junior scored 9 of his 15 in the second half, and USD led by as many as 11. Denver wouldn't go quietly, though. Cam Griffin, great patience as he drops it through for 2. And it's Jalen Love with the putback. He had 9, and the Pioneers back within 5. But the Coyotes take momentum right back. Eric Robertson goes baseline for the slam. That's his only 2 of the day, but it was pretty. USD continues to run from there. On the break, Trey Norris to Karim Rawson for the lay-in. And moments later, shot clock winding down. Rawson again. Just his second three-pointer of the season, and it stretches the lead back to 10. And as it turned out, those 5 points would be the difference. Denver outscores USD 8-1 over the final 5:57, but it proved to be too little, too late. USD holds on to win its 3rd straight game, 59-54, improving to 6-9 overall, and more importantly, 1-0 in the Summit League. Certainly one of the best defensive performances of the year for the Coyotes, who held Denver to 6 of 22 shooting in the second half.
Our coaching staff put together a great scouting report on these guys, and we had a full week to prepare for them, so that's kind of nice, you know, that we didn't have a Thursday game, so we had to focus on them all week, and I don't know if that was the difference maker, but I thought we played a great game today. Made it a little bit too interesting at the end there for our liking, but Coach can get a couple extra gray hairs for us. That's all right.
This was a very good team. It was, and obviously conference games are crucial. So it was a great win for us. You know, 3-game winning streak going into Thursday's game is going to be great because our guys will have more confidence going into it.
Obviously a big win for Joey James and the Coyotes to tip off conference play. We'll talk more about it with USD's interim head coach when we return on Coyote Quarter. And welcome back to Coyote Quarter. Joining us now is interim men's head coach Joey James. And Joey, coming off a win in your Summit League opener, got Denver coming in here. This is a team a lot of people expect to challenge for the Summit League title. You got them on your home floor, and you come away with the victory, so it has to feel pretty good starting off 1-0.
Yeah, I tell you, we had a great week of practice, I thought, leading up to it. We had the whole week to prepare. The only thing that was bad, we had too many guys that were kind of sick in and out of there, but they fought hard through it. But it was a heck of a game. Our guys played very well defensively, and I thought they did a really nice job in that second half, holding them to about 26% from the field. So, you know, and offensively, I thought we were patient. We got the ball in the right guys' hands, and I thought Trevor Gruce got off to a great start and led us in scoring that night. But we played well. We played very well, and Denver's a very good basketball team.
Well, you talked about Trevor Gruce and the execution on offense. Clearly the game plan was to feed the post, feed Trevor, and you guys did it well because whatever that matchup was, they were switching around in that zone. You got something you liked, and you went back to it time and time again. You had 16 points in the first half.
Yeah, we did. That was definitely a point of emphasis. We wanted to make sure we pounded that ball inside, and our perimeter guys did a really nice job of finding him. And then, of course, he just had to make the moves. But Trevor, we expect that out of Trevor. Not that we're going to get 19 points a game out of him every night, but we should get between that 13 and 15. He's a senior. He's been with us for 4 years, been a 4-year starter in this program. So we expect a lot out of him, but he definitely performed like an all-league guy.
And I know after the game, something that you mentioned, a word that you mentioned was tempo, that it was important to come out of the locker room, establish tempo. And several times already this season, we've seen you go in, play a really strong first half, go into the locker room, and then for whatever reason, the energy just isn't there. Well, this wasn't the case this time. You guys came out, picked up where you left off, and built an 11-point lead at one point.
Yeah, we did. And it's – I wish I knew the answers to the whole second half spiel, but our big focus right now is that coming out of the half, we've got to continue to be really good defensively and rebounding. And we won the rebounding battle that night. Defensively, we were incredibly good in that second half. But offensively, our execution was really good too. I thought we had patience. And in order to beat a team like Denver, who is a very patient basketball team, I think you have to have patience on the offensive end if you don't have anything in transition. So our guys followed the game plan very well and executed very well, and was extremely excited about that win.
And another problem that you've encountered at different times has been second chance points, and you guys did a good job. And part of that just goes along with rebounding. They only give up 6 on the offensive glass this time, and just 4 points in second chance. So that's a huge difference maker right there for you.
It is, absolutely. And but again, we've made a point of emphasis more if we're going to be a very good basketball team and be able to compete at a high level in the Summit League, both home and on the road. The 2 things that we got to do is defend and rebound.
All right. Well, this weekend you get that win, you shove it in your belt, and you move on and try to carry that momentum forward. 2 more home games to wrap up this 5-game homestand for you. IUPUI coming in here on Thursday night. This is a team that struggled, 5-14 overall. They lost their first 2 to North Dakota State and South Dakota State this weekend. But certainly, as you've learned, from maybe going into games as the favorite and going into the games as the underdog, you can't afford to take anybody lightly in the league.
No, you can't. I tell you, just watching film against South Dakota State, North Dakota State against IUPUI, that was a good game until that second half. And I believe it was about a 3-point game with 3 minutes to go against the Jacks. So IUPUI is very good. They got a very good guard in Ian Childs and a big kid in Mitchell Patton that we've had issues with. And so we're going to get back to work today and focus on those guys. But we're expecting a very good basketball game on Thursday.
That one's coming up on Thursday night. And Childs, you mentioned 17.1 points per game. Patton, 12.6 boards per game. So certainly, obviously, a couple of guys to keep an eye on. Then on Saturday, a big test here because Fort Wayne might be playing the best basketball out of anybody, save maybe North Dakota State, but they beat the Bison this weekend, off to a 2-0 start in the league.
They are, and I tell you, the one thing that I like about Fort Wayne is that they are tough. They have tough kids, and I really like Louis Jacobo, who is a returning all-league guy, and then they have a big kid, Steve Forbes, who is about 6'8", 300 pounds, and throws his weight around in there very well. Good low post player, but they got a lot of key pieces back from last year's team, and it's going to be a great challenge for our guys. But I know that we're looking forward to it.
And what is it about them that's made them so effective? I mean, you mentioned some of the individuals, but overall they're playing very good team basketball right now.
They do, and that's just it. They play 9 or 10 guys, and they get after you defensively. And again, like I said, they're tough, and they come at you downhill from the offensive standpoint. But we're just going to have to be very disciplined. We're going to have to be a tougher basketball team. We're going to have to defend and rebound if we want to have an opportunity to beat these guys.
All right, well, good luck to you this weekend. Certainly going to be another couple good games here at the Dakota Dome, so I'm sure you'd like to see people come out and cheer on the Coyotes.
We'd love to have them out. The more fans, the better. So they've done a great job so far, and we definitely appreciate it, but we definitely need our 6th man this weekend.
All right, good luck. We'll see you next week here on Coyote Corner. All right, well, the Coyote women had a chance to complete the Summit League sweep on Sunday afternoon in Denver, and we're going to have the highlights from that one when we come back.
The USD women were, at least statistically, one of the better defensive teams in the Summit League during the non-conference season.
Coyotes held their opponents to 39% shooting through their first 15 games, good enough for second in the league. But numbers don't always tell the whole story, and that defense was actually a concern for Amy Williams heading into Sunday's Summit League opener at Denver. Unfortunately, the Coyotes didn't exactly put their coach's mind at ease during their brief stay in the Mile High City, and two particular players had a lot to do with that, one of them being Morgan Van Riper-Rose. That three was a sign of things to come for the Pioneers junior. The other troublemaker was Teresa Worth. Great move inside for the and one. Three-point play helps DU build an 11-point first-half lead. Coyotes cut into that deficit with a nice little run of their own off the inbound Bridget Orange. Nice look to Margaret McLeod. The sophomore does the rest. A couple possessions later, Nicole Seekamp leaves it for Rachel Contreras. 23 buries the tray, her third of the half, and the Yotes are back within 6. More from the Coyotes. It's McLeod again, this time off a feed from Contreras. McLeod tallied 14 points and 7 rebounds in 23 minutes off the bench. The Pioneers would quiet things down before the half. Under 5 seconds to go, Worth connects at a long two to give Denver a 42-38 lead at the break. Coyotes come out strong to start the second. Contreras throws it and drive and lays it in to get USD back within a pair, and Seekamp would give them the lead moments later. The Aussie, though, just 1 of 7 from the floor at her first game back from an ankle injury. The lead wouldn't last long. Worth hits again, part of a 10-4 run for the Pioneers. She led all scorers with 26. DU would build their lead to as many as 7, but the Coyotes had a little left in the tank. Contreras, her 4th three of the day. She had a team-high 21. Later, Polly Harrington sticks with it and scores on the putback. She had 13, and the Yotes are down just 2. But Denver could not miss down the stretch. Van Riper-Rose for 3 again. She scored 18 of her 22 points from beyond the arc. Pioneers shot 60% in the second half en route to a 91-84 win over the Coyotes. USD dominated the glass in this game. They out-rebounded Denver 45-29 with 22 of those coming on the offensive end, leading to 18 second-chance points, but they simply just couldn't get the stops they needed down the stretch. It's just the second loss in the last 9 games for the Coyotes, who fall to 9-7 overall and 0-1 in the Summit League. Not the start the Coyotes were hoping for in conference play, but the key now is to not let one loss turn into 2. We'll talk about that with head coach Amy Williams next.
And welcome back to Kyle Corner. Joining us now is USD women's coach Amy Williams. And Amy opened the conference season on Sunday afternoon at Denver. And you and I had talked previously. You expected this game to be tougher than maybe their record would indicate. They played a tough schedule in non-conference play. Didn't get a lot of wins, but you thought there were some weapons on that side of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they're a better team than what their record kind of indicated. We spent a lot of time trying to talk to our team about not taking that lightly. We knew it was going to be a real tough open to Summit League play, and it proved to be that. And they were really sharp and on, so it was a tough battle, and we unfortunately came out on the wrong end.
Well, you talked about after the Cleveland State game, you guys had won 7 of 8 after that last game of the non-conference schedule. And you talked about after that game, needing to become a better team defensively, that you were giving up too many points. Unfortunately, that didn't happen from Cleveland State to Denver because you end up giving up a season high 91 in that loss to Denver. What were they doing, or what weren't you doing that was enabled them to put up that kind of number on you?
Well, I do give Denver a lot of credit. I mean, they were in attack mode from the very beginning, and they were running their offense at a very high speed. But, you know, I think we've seen some holes in our defense, watching film, kind of breaking some things down, some things that we've been spending a lot of time trying to address in practice, and they really finally kind of came back to bite us in the butt at that Denver game. And I think that early in the game, we were not sharp with our game plan. We gave some open three-point looks to some of their three-point shooters, and then they started to get really confident and went on a streak there. We had a few times that we were playing good defense, but they just were feeling it then. And you've got to be sharp early and take away those looks, so you keep a team from getting into a sink and flow and getting that confidence about them.
Now, two players in particular for them, Teresa Worth and Morgan Van Riper Rose. I think I'm saying that right. 26 points for Worth, 22 for Van Riper Rose. And the latter was 6 of 9 from outside. So some of that three-point shooting, she certainly was feeling pretty good about herself.
She was, and she's a great shooter. She was preseason picked to be one of our all-league players. So, we knew that she's a capable shooter, and if she gets on a roll, that it could be a long night, and that's exactly what happened. And Teresa Worth had her best game of the year and really scored. I thought just took it at us down inside in the post and was very aggressive and hit some mid-range jumpers, just was doing a lot for their team. So those two players really stepped up and played big for them, and we just didn't buckle down and defend the way we needed to do so.
On the offensive end, there had to be some things you were pretty pleased with. Anytime you score 84 points, it's a pretty good number. You guys didn't shoot it particularly well, but you were able to get on the scoreboard, shot 37 free throws, made 32 of them. So that's a good thing. And offensively, Rachel Contreras kind of leading the way for you again. She's done a lot of that lately. Didn't shoot it herself real well, but has really kind of taken charge of the offense from a scoring standpoint for you here over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think there were some good things offensively, and I think that anytime you can have 5 players in double figures scoring, that's a good thing. It shows good balance, and Rachel did lead us in scoring, but I thought a lot of people were able to be effective and help in that area, and we did a good job of getting the ball inside to Margaret and Polly, and they did an excellent job. Nicole Seecamp really coming back off injury. She certainly was not 100% and didn't have her legs underneath her, but she was able to get herself to the foul line. That's a smart basketball player, a veteran basketball player that can get herself to the foul line. So I thought there were some good things there. We came out and finished the game with 22 offensive rebounds, which showed some great effort, particularly in the second half, crashing the boards. But we said in the locker room we feel like 84 points, anytime we can put 84 points on the board, that should be good enough for a double figure win in our book, and the only way that's going to happen is if we improve defensively.
And with that loss, you fall to 9-7 overall, 0-1 in the Summit League, and things don't get any easier from you this weekend as you continue this road trip in Indiana with a pair of games against 2 decent teams, or really good teams, as a matter of fact. IUPUI, obviously very good, and they're up first on Thursday night. So what have you seen from the Jaguars to this point that really concerns you?
Well, I mean, they're going to be a tough team, and they're always a tough matchup. They like to full court press. They're a tremendous defensive team. So we're about to face a battle where we're going to have to be able to take care of the basketball, and also they have a lot of weapons and a lot of people that can dribble, penetrate, and can score in some different ways. So we're going to have to improve some things defensively and handle the basketball in that game to have a chance. And
then on Saturday you wrap up the weekend in Fort Wayne, and we talked about Denver putting up 91 points. This is definitely a team with Amanda Hyde, the Conference Player of the Year, that's capable of scoring in bunches if they get hot.
Yeah, and we saw them go into Michigan State and beat them on their home court this non-conference, and they've had a great start to the conference play. They're a tough matchup because they play a lot of guard skills, people that can step out on the perimeter. They're hard to defend because they make hard cuts. They're always running everywhere. So it'll be a tough matchup for us at Fort Wayne, but we've got to find a way to bounce back and keep competing and getting better ourselves.
All right, well, good luck to you this weekend. Have safe travels.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you back here next week. All right, well, following the graduation of Alexis Yackley, the Coyotes handed the reins of their offense to another South Dakota native. Taehee Miller has handled that responsibility well. More on USD's new floor general when we come back.
And welcome back. Well, with the loss of Alexis Yackley, the Coyote women came into this season with what they thought was a pretty big question mark at point guard. Head coach Amy Williams ultimately handed the reins to 5'6" sophomore Taehee Miller, and it's turned out to be a great decision. Hemiller has emerged as one of the most improved players in the Summit League, and she's our Coyote Quarter Athlete of the Week.
As a freshman, Taehee Miller provided a spark off the bench. Now a sophomore, the Watertown native has transitioned into the Coyote starting point guard.
You know, I want to help my team out, and I just knew that, you know, since Lex is gone, I had a big role and big shoes to step in.
And she's done so in surprising fashion. Coach Amy Williams says Hemiller's improvement has been unparalleled.
I'm not sure if in my coaching career I've seen the turnaround in a kid that we've seen, just confidence and just, you know, even from our first game of the season until right now, she's just controlling the basketball and playing smart and handling things and stepping up and making big shots, and she just seems to be playing with a lot of confidence right now.
That confidence comes from spending time in the gym, along with having a year under her belt.
Last year, you know, just being a freshman, I was a little more timid, but I just know that, you know, confidence is the key.
Her aggressive style hasn't changed. And while it can be problematic, both Hemiller and Williams agree that she's learning how to keep herself on the floor.
I just like to get in there. I guess I'm really aggressive, and I kind of had to learn to be less aggressive now in college. You know, don't foul as much.
I watched the game film from when we played at Cleveland State 1 year ago. Ty played 1 minute and had 3 fouls in 1 minute. So we definitely have kind of made an improvement from that.
As she continues to progress in all areas, the Coyotes owe a lot of their early success to Hemiller.
I don't know where our team would be right now if Tia had not made that leap and that jump.
For Coyote Corner, I'm Katie Lingle.
Nicely done as she sets up Hemiller.
All right, that's our time for this week. We'll see you back here next week for another episode of Coyote Corner.